Mike McCarthy is fined. Why? All right, guys, listen. Mike McCarthy is fined for the second year in a row. The second year in a row. So what does that mean for the Dallas Cowboys, and how will that impact the future offseason programs? Well, before I get into that, guys, don't forget to mash the like button, the share button, and also subscribe to Boss Cowboy Sports for the latest and greatest in Cowboy sports and news. Now, listen. When you talk about Mike McCarthy, you talk about a guy that, if you follow Boss Cowboy Sports, in a lot of ways has been unsullied. He's a guy that is being blamed for a lot of things, but systematically within the organization, his power has been taken away. I would say this started with the retention of Kellen Moore and him having the dominant role in calling the offense for the Dallas Cowboys in this past season. And Mike McCarthy is the fall guy for whatever happens on the team, and to a point, deservedly so, because he is the head coach. However, the last offseason, the Dallas Cowboys, along with the San Francisco 49ers and the Jacksonville Jaguars, were fined. All right, they were fined for having too physical off-season practices in terms of OTAs. The practices were too physical. This violated the NFL's collective bargaining agreement, which had a cap or regulation and guidelines as it relates to how physical practices will be. And so the Cowboys, for the second year in a row, violated this, and Mike McCarthy is the fall guy. He's fined $50,000 last year and $100,000 this year. And Mike McCarthy's whole contention is that he's trying to do the right thing, and that he's being penalized for doing the right thing. I get that. I understand it. I feel it. No problem there with it. And to be honest with you guys, it can mean a couple things for the Cowboys. Number one, Mike McCarthy is pressing, because I believe that he's seen and he's aware of most of the other team, and he's trying to push and create the appropriate amount of intensity for these young guys so they can be prepared. So that's one. Two, he wants to see exactly what he has in these guys and what their capabilities are, which is great, because he knows that it's certain pieces he may have to fill this coming season in terms of, in my opinion, defensive end, offensive tackle, and possibly, obviously, guard as well. And he could have to play one of these young guys at the linebacker position pretty soon, sooner than expected, if we don't get great productivity and a healthy Jabril Cox. I'll tell you that. So the whole premise of two physical practices, being too physical, I get it. It is something that, hey, you want to be careful. And I'm a guy that I'm of the philosophy, hey, you don't want to burn the candlestick too early, and you want to be sure these guys are ready to go when the game counts. But at the same time, I greatly respect him having a degree of intensity and tempo with the young guys, trying to get as much as he can out of these guys and create a culture that has been lacking with the Cowboys, which is physical. And if you think about the San Francisco 49ers, their offseason program last year, it was cut short by 3 days. They lost 3 days, and it was a penalty because of the fact that they were just being too physical. And it wasn't because they had two guys that had season-ending injuries in the OTAs. So, that's the same team that beat us. That's the same team that gave us a lot of problems. So I think that if you want to mirror tempo and you want to create a culture, but also I think that Mike McCarthy, in some ways, as he presses and tries to prepare this team, he wants to correct wrongs. He wants to put this team in an attitude and a tempo of being extremely physical, of also going hard and competing. A spirit of competition throughout all of the ranks, which personally I think it will bode maximum effect and well for the Dallas Cowboys. So sorry about Mike McCarthy and him being about $100,000 shorter after this whole fine situation. Love what he's doing in terms of pushing these guys. Love what I'm hearing so far in terms of these guys getting to skirmishes and competition being fierce, at least amongst the rookies thus far, because we don't have the veterans in camp right now. and he has to do everything he can to get these guys ready to play. He has to create culture and tempo, and he has to, in my opinion, fight for his job. So that's my take on the matter. I believe that he's trying to set a signal, and he's trying to regain some of the luster and some of, as much as he can, control in terms of influence on how practices go and what's going to be done within the organization, since we heard rumblings and notes that he's going to be judged and evaluated, by certain metrics. So, I think all that stuff is in the back of Mike McCarthy's head. I think he's doing a good job managing this whole thing. I wish that when he first got the job that he would have been the offensive coordinator, maybe had Kellen Moore be the assistant. That's my opinion. I think that he came into the building being responsible for the whole thing and not having enough control to actually craft the true direction of what his expertise was, which was calling the offense and coming up with schemes offensively and game calling plays. So, hey, hope it all works out with Kellen Moore. I like what I hear. Sorry about the money, Mike, but man, we appreciate you trying to set tempo and precedence in the offseason, at least with the rookies thus far. So, guys, if you like content like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please follow Boss Cowboy Sports on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can follow me, the OC100, on Twitter. Until next time, see you.